After much delay, I finally started work on my chicken tractor. I had been researching for a few months of different designs and models and settled for one that houses about 10 to 15 chickens intended for meat. I have no experience with woodwork myself, but fortunately my father has the history and the tools to help aid in this undertaking. I loaded all the wood into the commercial kitchen space where the tools are currently located. After a few examples performed in front of me, I was in charge of cutting. We accidentally cut too many pieces due to my miscalculation of the blueprint, although there were hardly any instructions in writing, so I had to extrapolate the measurements. Plentiful scrap wood for a second tractor, if needed. After a few weeks, I was able to construct a working unit. There are still a few small trimmings to address, but it is functional. I kept procrastinating its finale, becoming discouraged by the hours funneled into each screw, the redactions in my misfires, and still seeing how far along I had to work. My father was the one who had to initiate the motivation for us to keep working on this project. We would often start sessions together. He would have to leave, imploring me to continue working, and I would, but I could never come to a completion of a task that we started. This inability for me to actually come to a conclusion for an objective without having someone stand over me and tell me to do it is a trait that I'm constantly trying to address. I should know by now that I can set up routines, deadlines, habits for myself that would allow me to actually complete these objectives and have peace of mind. I also fashioned two types of roosting bars for the chooks. I broke a skinny branch from a mesquite tree. The leaves had already been eaten by the goats, and braced it against the two side walls of plywood. The second roost was made from a PVC pipe. I drilled a 1-inch hole into a stud and bent the pipe to fit inside while being taut against the opposing stud. I might want to revisit drilling a 1-inch hole into this opposing stud to stabilize both ends. I went into our local feed and seed store to discover that they only had the Cornish cross variety of chicken. I didn't want something so standard and basic, so I thought, why not check online postings? I followed a blueprint that would optimize the space for foraging meat birds. Now that I bought egg-laying hens, they require more square feet, nesting boxes, calculated roosting angles, brooding care, and even differences in nutrition. However, they provide a long-lasting product supply in eggs once they get started. This stands in contrast to meat birds, which require an upfront investment before the final feeding, not to mention the equipment for butchering. I could outsource this process, but I figured, why not learn how to butcher animals as a skill? If I continue to eat meat, there are personal paradigm shifts with the act of raising and starting a life, killing that life, and then consuming that life for myself. As the dial switches from spring to fall, we still do not have an appropriate area of grassland for the chooks. The compost that is ready for use is going to the spaghetti plot to support the vegetables there. Therefore, the Q plot, where the chicken tractor is intended to reside, is currently inorganic dirt with little terrain for talon scratching. Our neighbor, who happens to be my paternal grandmother, has a backyard of lush grass that would be perfect for the tractor. Alas, we share the yard with neighbors who have free roaming dogs, which closes that option off. Luckily, Gibb Farms shares a wall with an elementary school, who has a nice patch of grass and soil life. My extended family founded the school, but it is now managed by friends of the family. Once the school is closed for winter break, I want to convince the administration to let me borrow a piece of grass so I could take this poultry box for a joyride. Conversely, I could also place our rabbit inside and have it provide free lawn mowing services, but with special precautions as rabbits can dig deep holes. If anything, I'm just excited that I actually started and completed a woodworking project. It was great to work with my hands and to have mentors guiding me.